Boom, 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 boom. Now tell me what you gonna do, but it ain't nowhere to run. When judgment comes for you, when judgment comes for you, tell me what you gonna do, when it ain't nowhere to hide. When judgment comes for you, 'cause it's gonna come for you.
Swinging it for water, easy, see something Charlie. Little boo guy's got him, and I'm gonna miss everybody out of row and flows like eggs. Looked at a wild lag and prayed for dust, and they play too deep for being sad. Little legs I got to be. Tell me your feature deceased, would it please? Marry me by my grand, when you can go follow
God bless you, working on the plan.
Back on Wrestling Network. Welcome back to the CrosUp, your weekly look back at the week that was in professional wrestling. This week I'll be running through the results and happenings from Raw on August 4th to Collision on August 9th. We'll start our week with Monday Night Raw as per usual. We open with a long recap of both nights of SummerSlam, obviously happened the previous weekend. Big show, a lot of happenings. Big return of Brock Lesnar, as I talked about last time. But we open things with Seth Rollins and his crew coming to the ring. Braun Breaker at the end of the Saturday night show seemed kind of hurt, but he seems like he's okay coming out here. So gladly that wasn't a worse injury than maybe originally thought. But Paul Heyman declares himself not just the GOAT, but also the Oracle. So he got a new nickname. He's not the Wise Man anymore. He's the Oracle. He talks about the people next to him and says that normally he would be here introducing the Tribal Chief, but Reigns hasn't been champion in a year and a half. Maybe he could be introducing Punk, who won the title on Saturday and thought he would have it forever. But then Rollins took the title away from him and stole the honeymoon, which was very good to Seth Rollins. The crowd boos this pretty hard. Rollins talks about how the fans all turned their backs on him. You should have never bet against him because he is and will forever be the World Heavyweight Champion and the best one at that. Shame on everyone who turned their back on him because he always had a plan B. He only told two people about this plan, his beautiful wife, Becky Lynch, of course, and his Oracle, Paul Heyman. They are the past, present, and future of wrestling, and they are the vision. So I don't think they've officially named the group this, but that's been trademarked by WWE. So it looks like Breaker, Reed, Rollins, and Heyman collectively will be called the Vision. LA Knight comes out to interrupt. He greets the new champ, the Oracle, and the morons, as he calls the two bronze. Knight accuses Rollins of faking his injury to get out of their match. But Knight did beat him fair and square anyways. That makes things interesting because he's ready to beat Rollins again right here and right now, but this time for the title. Rollins sounds interested, but eventually says no, which brings out Adam Pearce. It wouldn't be normal to run a title match with no promotion, but it's also not normal to have someone lie to the medical team like Rollins did. That's why tonight the title is on the line, and Reed and Breaker are banned from ringside. We then move on to the next segment where Judgment Day runs into the LWO in the back. Dominic Mysterio doesn't think much of them. Dragon Lee then requests and receives a match tonight against Dom. But AJ Styles comes in and says he kind of approves of how Dom won the title, being sneaky like Eddie Guerrero used to be. But he still wants another shot at the title and says he's still coming for it. We then get Rusev versus Sheamus. It ends in a double countout as they battle all around the ring, around the outside of the ring and all that stuff. After the match, the beatdown stays on despite referees and agents trying to break them up. And this kind of continues throughout the night. They continue battling around the backstage as other segments kind of start to happen. We then get the New Day. They are still in mourning of their tag team title reign, with Xavier Woods having a absolutely gigantic hat on with these ridiculous tassels and stuff like that. It's like twice the size of his head. Grayson Waller comes in and asks where they were last week. The team shrugs it off, but blame Adam Pearce for their issues. Waller goes to yell at Adam Pearce, who is talking to Penta. Pearce says New Day can have a title shot when they earn it, and Waller will face Penta later tonight for interrupting him because he was looking for an opponent for Penta anyways. Penta then defeats Grayson Waller via pinfall following the Mexican Destroyer. After the match, the New Day go after Penta, who clears the ring and steals Woods' hat and kind of poses with it a little bit. That hat is then thrown at New Day, and Penta takes them all down with the flip dive to end the segment. We then get Charlotte and Alexa Bliss arriving in the back when Sheamus and Rusev run up, continuing to brawl, kind of just go past them as Charlotte and Alexa are entering the building. We then look back at Brock Lesnar's return to lay out John Cena at SummerSlam. Michael Cole says that he talked to Triple H and Nick Khan about Lesnar's return, and apparently they agreed weeks ago that it was time to bring him home, and Brock seemed happy to do so. We then get Charlotte and Alexa Bliss out to the ring. They say Charlotte says that might be the first "You Deserve It" chant that she's ever gotten, but she has to get used to the idea that they are the champions instead of just her. Maybe if Bliss could stop hitting her in the face, they could be something. Bliss implies that maybe she was about to say the F word, which is obviously friend. Charlotte then says, "You are such a pain in my A word." So really playing on that little card a lot in these segments with them. Either way, Charlotte is happy with winning another title and brags about her success. But here's the Judgment Day to interrupt. They get right to the point and they want a title shot, and the match is made. Adam Pearce says, "Not so fast, because that's not normal. But nothing tonight is normal, so let's do it." Charlotte and Alexa then retain, defeating Roxanne and Raquel in a rematch when Alexa hits the Sister Abigail DDT on Roxanne. We then cut to the back. The Kabuki Warriors and Io Sky are in the back, and then Rhea Ripley comes and kind of interrupts and asks to talk to Io alone. Once the Kabuki Warriors leave, Rhea Ripley says she heard Io Sky got a one-on-one match with Naomi next week. Sky says she didn't get pinned at SummerSlam, with Ripley telling her to go win the title so Ripley can take it off of her. And Sky, of course, says, "Rhea, you are never going to beat me because you never have and you never will." We then look back at Bayley costing Lyra Valkyria the Intercontinental Women's title at SummerSlam against Becky Lynch. Bayley finds Valkyria, who wants nothing to do with Bayley anymore. She needs to get out of this Bayley vortex, and they aren't friends or enemies, and that Bayley just needs to stay away from her. We then go to Dominic Mysterio defeating Dragon Lee via pinfall, following a shot with his boot that had been ripped off. And then he pins him with having his feet on the ropes for extra leverage. Obviously El Grande Americano, played by Ludwig Kaiser at this point, had come out and interrupted and interfered on Dom's behalf. But there were other guys that were kind of dressed like El Grande Americano, but they had all kind of interfered and helped Dom get the win. But the boot shot and the feet on the ropes is how he gets the pinfall. After the match, AJ Styles runs in and swings the boot at Dom, but Dom is able to duck it and run away. And then Styles tries to throw it at him up the aisle. But Mysterio again kind of dodges it and leaves. We then get Sami Zayn. He is happy to have defeated Karrion Kross, but is happier to have thrown the steel pipe away instead and winning on his own. Sheamus and Rusev again brawl some more, but Zayn actually gets in the middle of it and ends up getting a hit in the face by Rusev. So that kind of sets up a thing with them. I think they have a match that's coming up Monday. Becky Lynch then comes to the ring to cut a promo. She says, "Ding dong, Lyra is gone," obviously making fun of Bayley's old catchphrase, and obviously making fun of Lyra, the fact that she can't challenge her anymore. She's not getting any more title shots as long as Lynch is champion, which will be very, very long time. It's time to open the door to new competitors, but we won't be doing it tonight. Nikki Bella comes in to interrupt, saying she thought she left the women's division in great hands, but Lynch has been such a disappointment. Bella is back to prove herself, and why did Becky come back? Is it because Hollywood isn't what she thought it would be? Becky brings up that she brings up her role in Happy Gilmore 2, while Bella's role was cut. She's kind of just a background player in the movie, while Lynch kind of has not a starring role, but she's got some lines and is a little bit more featured. Bella laughs it off, says that Becky is like Seth Rollins, but because no one believes her BS. Becky does not like Seth being brought up because they are the hottest couple in WWE. She says that used to be Bella and someone, but now we can't see them. Obviously, a shot at her and John Cena. The audience gives a pretty good, "Oh man," like that was a really good joke or a really good line delivered by Becky. But Nikki gets to the point and asks for a title shot. Becky then hits her in the face and bails instead of giving her a title match. We then get Naomi. She says she is indeed facing Io Sky next week, but Stephanie Vaquer interrupts. Naomi threatens to slap Vaquer's horns off and stick them in a certain place that'll leave her with a limp. So that could be interesting, without a doubt. But they have a date at Clash in Paris if Naomi can get past Io. We then get news that Gunther is going to be out indefinitely after being injured at SummerSlam. They kind of, he got busted open at one point and was bleeding pretty profusely. They're kind of, making it seem like that's what did it. But I think I talked about it on the last show. He has, he's having some issues with his nose, I think. Like it might be might not be completely broken, but has some issues for sure. So I think he's going to go get that kind of structurally fixed. But we go to the back, and Natalia's with the Alpha Academy, yells at Becky Lynch for being mean to Nikki Bella. Becky agrees to a match next week, but not against Natalia, but against Maxine Dupri. And then we get our main event where Seth Rollins defeats LA Knight via disqualification when CM Punk comes in and attacks Rollins. After the match, Punk goes after Rollins, and Knight is not pleased with the interference, costing him a world championship shot. Braun Breaker comes in to spear Punk, and Bronson Reed is in to crush LA Knight. The stomp hits both of them, and the Vision pose to seemingly end the show, but here comes Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns quickly cleans house, but Reigns goes after Reed, allowing for Rollins to sneak back in and hit the stomp. Reed then hits a bunch of tsunamis on Reigns, and Adam Pearce is out. With Rollins yelling at Pierce while they kind of yell at each other's back and forth. Bronson Reed then steals Roman Reigns' shoes once again, and the Vision stand tall to end the show. So maybe in a way kind of setting up possible War Games teams a little bit here, maybe at least the beginnings or something like that. We could see the Vision with a couple of other guys, maybe teaming up with them against Reigns and crew. But LA Knight has a gripe. He still hasn't been beaten by Seth, it seems. So he has a legitimate gripe to be world title contender. But we'll see where CM Punk goes from here. We'll see where all of these guys go kind of towards Clash in Paris. But it could be an interesting build to that show for sure. So, but Rollins and Knight, none of the matches on this show particularly really stood out to me all that much. That one had a lot of, extracurriculars to it. So I think it just hit a little bit better than maybe the rest of them did. Sheamus and Rusev was good again. But the fact that it kind of ended in a non-finish pretty much took away from it a little bit for me. But they did beat the shit out of each other, and it was definitely a solid match, with no doubt. But I would go with the main event just because it maybe meant a little more to the future storytelling of the going forward to Clash in Paris. So we'll go to NXT from there, though. We open with Kalani Jordan defeating Blake Monroe via countout when Jordan Grace comes in and runs Blake out of the arena completely, actually all the way to her car, where Blake Monroe bails from the NXT arena completely. Andre Chase doesn't give his students much of a chance tonight against Hank and Tank, but they'll take any chance over none. They basically do the whole Lloyd Christmas from Dumb and Dumber. So you're telling me there's a chance, and do that whole thing, do that whole bit. But they do, in fact, lose, as Andre Chase kind of predicted. Hank and Tank defeat them when they hit the Hank and Tank Express on Kel Dixon. After the match, Dark State comes in to wreck Hank and Tank, likely setting up them going after the tag team titles, as they kind of talked about in previous promos. We then get Fatal Influence. They're glad to have gotten rid of some competition. The personal concierge for the Elegance brand and TNA comes in to say that Ash by Elegance will be taking the Knockouts title later this week on Impact. JC James isn't convinced and tells Laney Reed, Laney Reed comes in and tells JC Jane isn't Jasmine supposed to polish your titles tonight, and she sends Jasmine off to polish the Knockouts and NXT Women's Championships. So Laney Reed kind of playing devil's advocate there, and starting to see some cracks, and maybe Jasmine being their flunky and lackey. So we'll see where that kind of goes. We then get Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights. They kind of catch up in the back, and both seem very happy to kind of rid themselves of the no quarter catch crew and being kind of Charlie Dempsey's flackies. So very interested in each other's futures, and interested in seeing where they can each take their singles careers. We then get the culling. They give Tatum Paxley a pep talk before her NXT North American Women's Championship match tonight. We then go to Thea Hale. She's very excited about facing Nia Jax tonight. We then get the match between Miles Bourne and Lexis King. Miles Bourne wins when he pins Lexis King after hitting the Born Again, which is his version of the zigzag. We then get Dark State. They say they jumped Hank and Tank a few weeks ago, and now they want the tag team titles. And they obviously jumped them tonight as well. Nia Jax defeats Thea Hale via pinfall following the Annihilator. After the match, Nia Jax mocks Lash Legend, who comes in for a brawl, and security eventually breaks us up. They end up doing the Rusev and Sheamus thing as well, where they kind of battle throughout the night. Ava gives Jordan Grace a match with Blake Monroe, but it's at Heatwave later in August. We then get Oba Femi. He comes out to cut a promo. He says he has been champion for 200 days, and it's time to find another challenger for the title. Trick Williams comes out, who says that he is the face of two brands, but Femi brings up the fact that Trick can't beat him. Trick says he's a new man, and he is ready to beat Oba Femi. But here comes Javon Evans to interrupt. He says, "Trick, I ain't gonna lie, you goofy as hell," which I thought was a really funny line, but that's kind of what he opened with. He says he wants a title shot because Trick can barely defend the TNA title, let alone challenge for another one. Oba Femi then says they can figure it out, and likes Evans' idea of the two of them fighting for a shot. Trick says no, because they'll do it in 2 weeks in Philadelphia. TNA's Moose then comes out to remind Trick that he's getting a title shot in 10 days at TNA's Emergence for the TNA World title. He remembers facing Femi too, and obviously, and then we get Dark State coming out once again. This time, though, the team is dispatched by all of the title contenders, with Moose throwing one of them out onto the pile of the rest. So Moose really staking his claim as a force here in this segment with all these big stars on the TNA brand. Cool to see 4 African American guys, all from different sizes, and a couple from different countries and stuff like that, all be in the same segment. So definitely really cool to see them really represented like this, and all the major programs pretty much, because you would think obviously Moose and Trick have their match coming up, and I would think at worst they're going to do a triple threat for the TNA or the NXT title with Evans, Femi, and Trick. I would think it would at least be Femi and Javon, but I think they might involve Trick as well, just to give it a little bit more star power. But really cool segment, like I said, with four African American guys being represented, of course. But we then go to Ariana Grace. She checks on Stacks, but Lash Legend and Nia Jax kind of pop in, still fighting and brawling around the back. Ren Sinclair is happy that she'll get to spend some quality time with Charles, as she calls him, Charlie Dempsey. Charlie doesn't seem too happy about this, though. Sinclair says when she's down, she remembers to believe in Joe Hendry and does the clap. And Hendry then pops out of a refrigerator randomly. Hendry gives Dempsey a shirt and says Dempsey throws it away, obviously. Dempsey says that Hendry is always viral, which comes from the word virus. Ren then says he's not a doctor. He just watches a lot of Grey's Anatomy. And then a match is made between Charlie and Joe next week. And Ren gets a photo with Joe before she leaves and goes and catches up with Charlie. We then get Stacks defeating Yoshiki Inamura via pinfall when Briggs comes out and boots Inamura while the ref is distracted. So continuing that rivalry. We then get Ethan Page coming out to cut a promo. He's proud of retaining his title over Santino and his stupid sock last week. We hear about other great Canadians, but Ethan Page is at the top of the list. He starts to sing "Oh Canada," but here's Tavion Heights to interrupt. No one wants to hear what sounds like a goose dying, but he knows what it's like to represent his country. Now that he's out of the no quarter catch crew, it's time to crawl out on his own. Page says Heights needs to learn his place, and Chelsea Green and her secret Hervis randomly come out to interrupt. Green loves her fellow Canadian, saying Page once fought a moose, and the moose apologized. She's not worried about a filthy American hitting her, so Heights hits Page instead and promises to find a woman who will be able to hit Green and put her in her place. We then get Lola Vice. She consoles Kalani Jordan, but says a win's a win. Fatal Influence then comes in to mock them, with Jasmine Nix saying she has gotten her Fatal Influence compatriots a tag match set for next week, and then she thinks she just found their opponents for that match. Nia Jax and Lash Legend continue to brawl, interrupting Zarya and Sol Ruka's conversation. Ava comes in to make a match between them for next week, just to kind of put a squash to it. We then get Javon Evans, Moose, Obafemi, and Trick Williams. They're in Ava's office after commercial. They want to fight each other, but she gives them an 8-man tag against Dark State next week. And Hank and Tank come in and say they want to face Dark State as well, but they will get their match at Heat Wave. So it'll be Heat Wave versus 2 members of Dark State at the next PLE. We then get Ricky Saints. He says he's worked to get here, but he has a target on him due to people being jealous of him. People like Ethan Page and Jasper Troy are coming for him, and now he wants to be NXT champion. In 2 weeks, he'll beat Jasper Troy, and he will start his ascent to being, a possible challenger for Obafemi in the NXT Championship. And then we get our main event where Sol Ruka defeats Tatum Paxley via pinfall following the Soul Snatcher after a whole lot of chaos happens around ringside with the culling. I believe Nia and Lash Legend battle around the ring again. So a lot of chaos happens towards the end of the match, and Soul sneaks in and hits the Soul Snatcher and retains her championship. Match of the night for sure. Not much in the way of matches on this one. This is more story to kind of build towards a lot of Heat Wave stuff. So really good main event match there. And Soul continues to put together some pretty good matches during her run. We will then go from there to Dynamite. We open with MJF. He is now the CMLL World Light Heavyweight Champion, and he has the belt. He's willing to send Mark Briscoe to hell, so he'll never see his brother again, or just back to Delaware, same difference. But tonight, Mark Briscoe's luck runs out, and he will put him down for good. We open with Jon Moxley defeating Speedball Mike Bailey via pinfall following the Death Rider. Alex Windsor is ready for her 4-way TBS #1 contenders match later tonight. Toni Storm is ready to whip her tits out and tango with Athena tonight. She then does a dance with Alex Windsor to kind of go off screen. We then get the Death Riders there in the parking lot when Darby Allin throws a white bag out of his car. They open the bag and it's Wheeler Yuta getting thrown out in a body bag. The team and then they find a note that says Forbidden Door on Yuta. But that's within the bag. So Darby Allin pretty much throwing out a challenge to Jon Moxley for a match at Forbidden Door. We then get a clip from earlier today where Mercedes Moné returned and when asked about her loss told Renee Paquette to not be such a mark about it. We then get Alex Windsor defeating Billy Starks, Queen Aminata, and Sky Blue when she gets an inside cradle on Billy Starks. After the match, Mercedes Moné comes in for a stare down. The distraction lets Athena hit the O-face on Toni Storm, who would come in as well. Monet and Athena then have a bit of a stare down of their own. Obviously, they have some history from WWE, but they're both kind of still wanting to get the women's world title from Toni Storm, so we'll see if they have any interactions in the future. We then get the Young Bucks. They have their founding fathers gear that they've had previously, and they commandeer a camera and yell at the production guy for not doing their entrance properly in recent weeks. And they have some special instructions for him tonight when they enter. Kyle Fletcher, with the rest of the Don Callis family, come out to cut a promo. Don Callis cuts Renee Paquette off and says he is building such a huge roster because it means more power. The more titles you have, the more power you have, and he loves seeing Fletcher take out Dustin Rhodes last week. Fletcher talks about how Rhodes doesn't belong in the same ring as him and says anyone who tries to take the title from him will receive the same fate. Callis unveils a new painting of the two of them together with Fletcher completely naked with the titles obviously strategically placed over a certain area and a rather muscular Callis right next to him. Fletcher is ready to be champion for a long time, and his first title defense will be this weekend on Collision. We then cut to the back, and Cope is ready to deal with Stokely Hathaway and FTR, and next week he's facing Stokely, and if FTR interferes, the restraining order they have against him will be null and void. We then get Brodito defeating the Young Bucks when Bandito hits a 450 on Matt Jackson. This moves them into the finals of the Tag Team Eliminator against FTR. So it'll be FTR and Brodito to see who faces the Hurt Syndicate at Forbidden Door. We then get a video of MJF for MJF versus Mark Briscoe later tonight, including some personal insults that they've thrown at each other throughout the past few weeks. The Hurt Syndicate then cut a promo, say they're ready to hurt either team in the tournament final at Forbidden Door. MJF comes in to say that they can win the world title, but MVP says he's tired of hearing MJF all the time, or about him all the time. The team is about them, but MJF's ego is out of control, and MVP gives him the thumbs down. So even he's out on him being in the group. We then get FTR and Stokely Hathaway. They do not like what Adam is doing. They don't call him Cope, they call him Adam, which is probably preferred by me. Stokely is on a crutch, but says Adam is just a bully, and he is going to pin Adam next week anyway, or he's going to pin him any way you look at it, and he's going to do it just like that. We then get video for Swerve Strickland versus Kazuchika Okada that will happen at Forbidden Door for the unified title. We then get a promo from Swerve. He talks about doing well in big matches, as well as brings up the things that he's done to the people he likes, such as Will Ospreay. So what will he do to someone like Okada? 3 times now, Okada has come after him to no avail, and now it's Okada in a big match because he is in there with a dangerous man. Swerve is ready to win the title at Forbidden Door, while Don Callis cries like a bitch. Obviously playing it the fact that Okada calls everybody a bitch. Mark Briscoe then cuts a promo, says he's ready to have his fist do the talking, and make MJF pay for his sins. When asked if a win puts him in a world title picture, Hangman Page comes in to interrupt. They've known each other for a long time, and he hopes Briscoe is his next challenger, and then they shake hands respectfully. We then get Willow interrupting Queen Aminata to give her a pep talk, but Chris Statlander interrupts, seemingly mocking Willow. That doesn't work for Willow, who tells Statlander to get serious and then come find her. And then we get our main event where MJF defeats Mark Briscoe via pinfall following a heat seeker. The controversy here was Mark Briscoe's foot was on the rope, but the ref did not see it. And obviously, once the 3 count hit, MJF pulled his leg off. After the match, he beats Briscoe down some more and gets the Dynamite Diamond Ring and nails a punch with that on his hand. Hangman Page then comes in for the brawl, which is broken up, but they brawl again with security not being able to do all that much. And he threatens to do the buckshot lariat, but MJF ends up running away to end the show. So as far as best match, that Briscoe MJF match was really good, but I would go with Brodito versus the Bucks. I always love AEW's tag stuff, whether it's 8-man tags, 6-man tags, just regular tags. They usually do that stuff the best of anybody on a weekly basis. So I'm going to go with that one for match of the night. We'll move on from there to Impact. We open with Trick Williams to get things going. He officially set to defend the title against Moose next week at Emergence. And he talks about all of Moose's bobbleheaded family and that they're going to be there at Emergence. Trick wants to talk about it, but Moose then comes in and interrupt. They go face to face, and Moose threatens to spear him, but Trick kind of bails before anything like that can happen. We then get Gia Miller. She is welcomed back. She's thankful that she received a lot of messages about her injuries while she was gone. She says as far as Tessa Blanchard is concerned, if she puts her hands on her one more time, she will fucking kill her. So that was a pretty strong line there from Gia. And then she gets all happy and bubbly again and brings in Joe Hendry. And he says Mustafa Ali will believe in him before the night is over. We then get Mike Santana. He meets Sami Callihan, but Eric Young and the Northern Armory interrupt them. Eric Young says that he was running this place when Santana was in high school, and now it needs another cleanse. Santana then just glares at all of the Northern Armory, and they eventually bail. We then get Jake Something versus Steve Macklin, but it ends in a double countout when both men fail to answer the count after battling around the outside. After the match, they have to be held apart, but Macklin gives a running flip dive onto security and Jake Something as well. I think they're going to run this match back at the pay-per-view or the whatever you want to call it, Emergence, the PLE, the special event, whatever you want to call it. We then get Mance Warner and Steph DeLander in the back. They can't seem to find Santino Marella, who I think they want to ask for an international title shot. Cedric Alexander says he's in his prime and is ready to win the X Division title. So he wants to face Leon Slater one-on-one. We then get Zaya Brookside and Lei Ying Lee defeating the Elegance brand of M and Heather this time. When Lee hits M with a TKO to win the match. We then get Santino Marella and Ariana Grace trying to go in Santino's office, but something is happening in there apparently. I believe it is Mance Warner and Steph either heavily making out or maybe even doing it because they both seem very offended by whatever's going on. And Santino basically yells that they've ruined his office or, made it a farce or just, soiled it or whatever. So something crazy is going on in there. We think at Ash by Elegance, she yells at the rest of the Elegance brand for screwing up her big night, throws them all out of the locker room. It's then time for an emergency edition of the First Class Penthouse. There is a big problem as Casey Navarro is out of action with the torn ACL. AJ Francis doesn't seem too worried about it as he brings out Navarro's replacement, Rich Swann, who Navarro actually replaced when Rich, I think he got fired at some point for doing something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but Navarro is out of First Class now with him being injured, which makes sense because he was Swann's replacement in the first place, like I said. That doesn't work for Navarro, who goes on a rant about he has done everything for AJ, while AJ hasn't done much for him since they've gotten together. However, AJ says that he's been carrying Navarro for 9 months and kicks the crutch away. So Navarro has to limp out of the arena without the help of his crutch. We then get Mara Sade defeating Vicious Vicky via pinfall following the Finish Her, which is our new finishing move's name, which is a butterfly gutbuster. We then get a couple of clips of TNA's involvement in NXT this past Tuesday, talking about Moose, obviously, being involved in a couple of segments and stuff like that. So, and obviously the Personal Concierge was there as well. We then get Ash by Elegance actually defeating JC Jane, but it's by DQ when Masha gets revenge from the previous week by attacking Ash. After the match, JC Jane jumps Slamovich and Fatal Influence runs in for the beatdown with the Elegance brand making the save. Zaya Brookside and Lei Ying Lee plus the Inspiration and come in and run off all the heels with Slamovich, Brookside, Lee, and the Inspiration standing tall at the end. We then get the Hardys talking about not just defending their titles, but also their legacy every time they go out there. We then get Santino Marella. He announces some matches for Emergence. First up, Steve Macklin will be defending his international title against Jake Something. This time, no DQ, no countout. We will get Mike Santana versus Sami Callihan. The Knockouts tag team titles will be on the line when the Elegance brand defends against the Inspiration, Zaya Brookside, and Lei Ying Lee. and Fatal Influence in a 4-way. Before he gets any further, though, Santino wants the Nemeths to come out here right now, Nick and Ryan. Nick says they better get their rematch for their titles, but after last week's attack on the hometown man, Nick Nemeth is suspended for Emergence. On the other hand, Ryan will be facing the hometown man one-on-one at Emergence instead. We then go to our main event where Mustafa Ali defeats Joe Hendry like I had predicted last week. It's from some shenanigans. Agent Zero, who is Mustafa Ali's new big heavy kind of guy in his group, delivers a big boot on Hendry on the outside while the ref's distracted, and then throws him back in the ring where Ali hits the 450. So some shenanigans, but again, Hendry's bad luck continues where Mustafa Ali gets a win over him. So Joe's losing streak kind of continues from there. But that was the best match of the night. Again, not much in the way of clean finishes in the matches, or much time given to too many other matches. But I would definitely give Ali and Hendry a watch if I was wanting to check out something from this week. We will then go to SmackDown. We open with Cena getting things going. We still get his special introduction, despite the fact that he is not a heel anymore. He just likes hearing it at this point, I guess. He talks about WWE being afraid to come to Montreal for such a long time because the audience might hijack the show. He's never been afraid of that, though, because the people here are so nuts that he can barely hear himself talk. Imagine someone in the back trying to prepare a show around these people. Cena brings up the fans singing, and of course, they're off to the races, singing stuff already, chanting stuff. Some wrestlers might be afraid being out here in front of this crowd, but Cena has learned to let the fans be themselves and enjoy every single second. He has learned that it doesn't last forever, and that means a thank you Cena chant, obviously, which seems to get to him a little bit. He's almost seems to whelp up a little bit. Cena says that after tonight, he only has 11 appearances left. And every night that goes by, he gets more and more afraid. He's afraid that no matter what he does, he'll let the people down. On top of that, he's afraid that people will forget about him. He has all these fears on his mind, and heck, he's even afraid of Brock Lesnar at this point. The thing is, there is no universe in which he'll back down from Lesnar, and he is afraid that Lesnar and everyone else has a Cena-sized problem. The last time is now, and so if you want some, come get some. This draws out Logan Paul of all people. He's not impressed with Cena, who says Paul might just have made the biggest mistake of his life. Whether you like it or not, Cena was right when he said that Paul does wrestling better than anyone else in WWE. Cena did indeed say that, and also calls Paul the biggest dumbass he's ever seen at the same time. Paul accuses Cena of saying whatever the bosses want him to say, and he says he wants a match. Cena is down with that. Paul says we can do it in a lovely French-speaking country like France. The match seems to be made, but here's Drew McIntyre to jump Cena from behind. Cody Rhodes runs in to make the save, and the faces end up standing tall. Cena accepts the match for Clash in Paris with Logan Paul, but then issues a challenge for a tag team match tonight, and that seems to be on as well. We then get the Motor City Machine Guns in the back. They are banged up from the TLC match, but are ready to face Solo Sikoa's MFTs. Yes, they are hurt, but they are ready to bring it as much as they can, considering how injured they are going into the match. The MFTs, represented by JC Mateo and Tala Tonga, then defeat Motor City Machine Guns when Tala hits the big choke slam on Sabin. After the match, Solo Sikoa says the MFTs are going to be the next tag team champions, but he is ready to fight, but he's leaving this terrible city without wrestling because he doesn't want to wrestle in front of these crappy fans, he says. But Nick Aldison comes out and says someone is ready to fight with Sikoa right now. And it ends up being obviously Montreal's own Sami Zayn. He comes out and defeats Solo Sikoa, not for the U.S. title, but just in a regular singles match, when he is able to avoid the Samoan spike and score a surprise roll-up. We then get Charlotte Flair. She has plans for Alexa Bliss's birthday tomorrow. And we'll see that out on the big stage in front of everyone. And this makes Bliss a bit nervous. We then get the Wyatt Six, say they will never lead us astray. This is about something so much bigger, and there are more lessons to be learned. And the Wyatt's story has only just begun. We then get the Street Profits and BFAB. They are not impressed by what they just saw. DIY and Candice LeRae then come in. They bigger over whose fault it is that the Wyatts are still champions. So Nick Aldis comes in to make a match between the two tag teams to let them get their frustrations out. We then get Alexa and Charlotte out for a championship / birthday celebration. We start with a big cake dedicated to Charlotte, and it also has Alexa's name in real small letters. There is a present which neither wants to open. Bliss saying she is scared of what may be inside. It's actually the Lily doll that Alexa used to carry around. It actually has the "We're Not Friends" shirt on that they have started wearing when they're around each other, which Bliss actually enjoys. That's not all, though, because Charlotte brings out a Charlie doll, obviously representing her, that Bliss gave her years ago, now with matching shirts. Charlotte says she needs something from Bliss, though, and Bliss is now allowed to give her a hug. The hug is teased, but here is Chelsea Green and the Secret Harvest. Green mocks the Montreal Canadiens, and Charlotte reveals that she has one more gift tonight, and that is beating up Chelsea Green. Green goes to leave, but Nick Aldis comes out and has a referee that has a little ribbon on his shirt. Says it's a brand new referee, and his gift to his gift to Alexa is to have Charlotte versus Chelsea Green tonight, with that referee being the ref for the match. Before we get that match, though, we cut to the back. Carmelo Hayes goes to find Nick Aldis, but runs into the Miz instead. Hayes isn't happy with Miz leaving him high and dry for months and is on his way to get a U.S. title shot. Miz cuts him off, though, and says he has them a tag team match for next week. Hayes leaves, and then Aldis, of course, coming back from the arena, wants to talk with the Miz in his office. We then get Charlotte defeating Chelsea Green via submission with the figure 8. We then cut to the back where Tiffany Stratton is happy with her win at SummerSlam, but Jade Cargill comes in and says it's not over between the two of them. Stratton says it'll always be the same with her being on top as the champion, and leaves. Kiana James with Julia comes in and offers her services to Jade. James and Julia leave, and Michin comes in asking for the card that Kiana just gave Jade. She might call that number and get a women's U.S. title shot, which leaves Cargill kind of confused as they all walk away. Aleister Black then has a promo package where he talks about the difference between good and evil, saying that he's an eye for a head kind of guy. Violence begets violence, and that's why Damian Priest is at home with a broken jaw. If that makes him a scapegoat, so be it. We then get John Cena running into Ron Killings in the back. He's happy Cena is back. Cena talks about how weird Killings was for 5 months with his different hair and making a kid cry. It's good to have the real Killings back, and obviously R-Truth is even more confused than he usually is. So John Cena kind of putting off his evilness onto R-Truth himself. We then get John Cena and Cody Rhodes defeating Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul when Logan Paul goes low on Cena, drawing the DQ. After the match, Rhodes and McIntyre keep brawling, but McIntyre knocks him down. McIntyre looks at the title and then hits a Claymore into the front of the announce table on Cody. So it seems that obviously Logan Paul and John Cena is official, but it also looks like we might be getting Cody and Drew at Clash in Paris as well. So if the show has the word Clash in it, it's at this point it seems like Drew is going to be the title challenger for said show. So, but Charlotte and Chelsea I thought was really fun. It involved the cake, and obviously Chelsea's kind of a mostly comedy act at this point. She goes face first into the cake at certain points. So I thought it was super fun. I won't say it was like real greatly technically worked or anything like that, but it had a lot of fun spots and was worked well enough to get my match of the night on SmackDown there. So, but then we will close with Collision for the night. We open with Kyle Fletcher defending his TNT championship successfully against Tomohiro Ishii. via pinfall following the Brainbuster. After the match, Fletcher calls out the best of New Japan for Forbidden Door. Then everyone will have no choice but to know and say his full name when they talk about him. Don Callis is then in the back. He's ready to fulfill his destiny at Forbidden Door and wants New Japan to send his best, or its best. Then he'll use his custom New Japan tie to choke them with. We then get Nigel McGuinness announcing that he will be in a 4-way on Dynamite for a shot at Zack Sabre Jr. and his IWGP Heavyweight title at Forbidden Door. We then go to earlier today where Ricochet and the Gates of Agony beat up a bunch of people. Ricochet said, give them what they want or this will keep happening. We then get the Matriarchy as asked about the concerto to Christian Cage last week. Cage had said he respected them for standing up to them, and now they're being questioned. Nick Wayne is a shooting star who has been released to the wild, and now their mission is to end Cage's career. We then get Megan Bain squashing Emily Rose via pinfall following a powerbomb. We then get a promo from Big Bill and Brian Keith. They swear vengeance on Juice Robinson for the Bang Bang Gang, kind of eliminating them from the tournament. Ricochet then defeats Juice Robinson via pinfall following the Spirit Gun. We get a by the numbers kind of video on Athena versus Toni Storm, talking about their reigns and just how much success that they've had over the last few years in their respective careers. We look back at Max Caster surviving against Roosh last week. Caster says Roosh got a moral victory last week and he doesn't need AR Fox's help. Tonight, it's another open challenge, so he does some push-ups and claps with some like nutcracker statues that are randomly in the back. We then get FTR and Stokely Hathaway. They face 3 jobbers, Ryan Zucco, Joe Keys, and Josh Fuller, and they hit the spike pile driver on Zucco, and Stokely gets the pinfall, obviously, leading to his match with Cope next week. We then get a video on John Moxley versus Darby Allin, their kind of rivalry to this point, and obviously leading towards their match that they'll have at Forbidden Door. We then get Hechicero defeating AR Fox via technical submission when he's able to choke him out. He kind of passes out on a choke. We then get video on what seems to kind of be a double turn with Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, like over the last few weeks and months. Bowen seems to be going kind of heel, and Caster seeming to kind of get over with the whole open challenge thing, and kind of last week getting cheered for surviving the 5 minutes. Then get a weird promo with a woman with a bandaged face. She's watching Harley Cameron get hurt. The woman puts on a mask, and after doing kind of a weird impression, it seemed like it was supposed to be something like a Jim Carrey impression. It ends up being Harley Cameron, so she's watching her get hurt and kind of implying that maybe she'll be back soon from her injuries. We then get the Triangle of Madness defeating Tay Mello, Queen Aminata, and Willow Nightingale when Julia Hart and Sky Blue hit a swinging assisted rock bottom on Tay Mello for the win. We then get a video of Skyflight. They want to face the Don Callis family. I don't think they specify certain members, but they want some bigger competition, and facing some of the guys from there. We then get FTR and Stokely Hathaway. They're happy with their win, and they are ready for bigger and better things going forward, including maybe the tag titles and obviously Stokely's match with Cope coming up on Wednesday. We then get Max Caster. He offers up his open challenge as per usual. Katsuyori Shibata answers and defeats him in just over 2 minutes by pinfall with the PK kick. After the match, Lefaction and Gobernable comes out and beats down both guys until Jet Speed makes the save, leading to our main event where Hangman Page and Jet Speed defeat Lefaction and Gobernable when Hangman hits the buckshot lariat on Dralistico to get the pinfall win. So that'll wrap up Collision. Best match was the opener with Fletcher and Ishii. Fletcher, he's one of those guys like Ospreay. If he's going to compete on TV, he usually goes all out, and it's usually the guy that will probably have the match of the night just because he's that talented, and he's usually put in a good position to succeed like that. So, yeah, another solid week of wrestling. Obviously, a little bit of a cool down from last week with SummerSlam happening. So, but a solid week nonetheless. Continuing to build towards Emergence, Heat Wave. We'll have Forbidden Door towards the end of the month as well. So just continuing to build all those big shows. Looking forward to all those. But that'll wrap up this week. Thank you for joining me as always, and we will see you next time.